At Home with Lucas here. So today we're going to be talking about LEVOIT cordless stick vacuum. Yes, people, I got my hands on this super budget-friendly cordless stick vacuum. I'm going to be putting this thing to the test. It says it has really good suction. It says it has an anti-tangle brush, so you're not gonna get a bunch of hair caught up in the brush. It also says that it has an easy ability to dump the dust bin, plus some other features to allow it to get up pet hair super easily. But the main thing is it too cheap? Is it too budget friendly, or is it something that's gonna be really awesome for the price? I'm gonna be putting that to the test because I wanna know. That's my goal right now, is to figure out, can you get a budget friendly stick vacuum and still have it produce as good as some of the bigger guys out there? So in this video, we're doing a hands-on with the box, quick unboxing and first impressions on said stick vacuum. After that, I'm gonna be putting this bad boy to the At Home with Lucas test to figure out, is it something you should buy or maybe skip altogether? I'm here for you, so don't have to waste your time buying and returning. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's take a look at this bad boy right quick. So this is the LEVOIT vacuum right here. This is a tiny box. They are really putting the work in to make sure this box is super, super tiny. This is the LVAC-200 cordless stick vacuum. All right, there's a sketch of what's to come in the box. Let's go ahead and get inside this bad boy. All right, there we go. This is the wall mount right here. It takes up zero space for your wall. Then you get this attachment right here, like the Dyson right here. This is 100% a Dyson attachment. I've only seen this on Dyson. Really interesting. I like the Stormtrooper look right here. That this roller 100% is inspired once again by another vacuum company, Shark. This is definitely a Shark inspired roller right here. This has got to be the skinniest cup that I've ever seen. I know this is a small stick vacuum and they're nimble, but it's quite big. So it's small. It's kind of like a skinny Coke versus a regular American fat Coke. Up to the top here, and it looks like you have a Roman numerals. No, I'm just kidding. That's 1, 2, 3, people. So first impressions, I like this thing. All right, so the first test I always do is, can my boy use this thing without having any problems? You're gonna have to avoid, it looks a little long. That's really interesting for such a small stick vacuum. All right, so he's maneuvering this thing around. He has to avoid my other son, who's coming at it like a baby shark. But yeah, it's nice and long. I like that a lot. It's definitely longer than our other one that we have currently. He is doing a great job avoiding the baby. Good job, Alden. So I'm gonna say it looks like he's doing a phenomenal job. And I do like how long it is. That's awesome. So I'm gonna give that a solid pass for the kid mode. If you have kids and you want them to do chores, get a new vacuum and they'll probably vacuum your whole house. Okay, so I'm actually going to be putting this in my laundry room, believe it or not. We have a plug right over there. I found a stud on the wall, right chair. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put the left screw in on the stud, and then I'll just basically put the right one. I'll put an anchor in there. All right, and there we go, just like that. Super easy. Here it is, charging away. Okay, when I first started using this thing, I was totally hyped. I was like, wow, so many people buy this thing. It's got good star rating. It's got to be a great, fantastic vacuum. And the first thing I noticed is that it would wobble all over the place. The front roller and the wheels and the way that it was built just did not allow you to make straight lines going at any good speed. If you went slow, you may be able to perform a little bit better. If you're at a certain angle, it wouldn't wobble as much, but you're going to see it coming up here. It wobbles all over the place, and I literally was holding this thing as tight as I could Now, possibly you're going to be able to use this thing over time, and that's going to diminish because you're going to get used to it. But man, I kid you not, it was absolutely terrible. Definitely something that I was not expecting at all. But other than that, the suction was decent. It didn't really make good stripes on the carpet, so I wasn't super impressed by how well it worked the carpet. But I did notice it was picking up a lot of debris and dust from the carpet itself, so that was good. It's heavy and lightweight at the same time, so it's kind of an enigma. It's definitely one of those vacuums that is going to be polarizing to you. So either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it, and I can't say anything other than that. So definitely was able to pick up the dust and the debris, but not my favorite vacuum to just pick up and use really quickly. Okay, so it got pretty much all of it out. I've had some where you had to get in there a little bit, so I would call that a pass. That is definitely a one touch. There's still hair up in here, which I think you're gonna have to take it all apart to get it out. You may be able to pull on it, but for the most part, it got everything out super fast, super easy. So that is definitely a one touch pass unit right there. Okay, now we're going to be putting this bad boy to the suction test. So I got a bunch of cereal right here all laid out. So we're just going to be doing a single pass and see how much we can get cleaned up. And then we're going to clean the whole thing up to test out the suction. Okay, there you go. Totally failed the nuts and bolts and screw test. It just doesn't have the ability to pull in all of these screws fast enough to really get them shot down the pipe and into the dustbin. So I'm gonna say it definitely failed on the suction test of large items. And yeah, this is a little extreme, but just imagine if you had pasta, dried pasta noodles or something, you're gonna want to know that this is gonna be able to fling it in, suck it up. Let's put this bad boy to the test. So we have the ceiling fan right here, which collects a lot of dust on the blades, which is very, very normal. And then it also catches some dust in the cage over here. So we're gonna be using this to clean that all out. Even on max suction, these bristles are a little bit too long, but I was able to completely clean, I would say, 90% of the dust off of there that was all loose. Some of it is definitely stuck on there a little bit more. And then I ran it quickly through the cages and it did get some off. I'm not mad about that, but I would definitely say that because the suction is a little bit lower than it should be, I'm gonna give this 1 thumb up out of 2. Okay, now we're going to be putting this to the automobile test. We're going to be cleaning out my car right there and just testing the suction and the tools that come along with it. Fully finished cleaning out the car. I have to say that the biggest problem with this is it's not a good handheld vacuum. Puts a lot of strain right on the wrist. It's too heavy, it's way too long. So if you're buying this thing to walk around your house and clean things like this, and I can imagine if you had the full extender on there and you had one of these tools on the end, that would be absolutely terrible. It is so heavy. like back in the wrong place. There's not enough weight by the handle, and you're just basically putting so much weight on there. So it's not good for using it like this. It's good as a vacuum, but not as a handheld. I've been using this bad boy for long enough that I think I have a full star rating. Let's start off with the battery life. So the battery life could be much better. On 1 or 2, it's decent. When you get into 3, it's gonna die really, really fast. The air filtration system on here is pretty terrible. The fact that it's not even close to HEPA is terrible. That means you're gonna be sucking dust into here and it's gonna shoot right out of there. So that's a big downfall. Okay, to deal with the filters is really easy. You just push this button right here and you pull down and it pops out just like that. Up at the top here, you have your very minimal filter. They're telling me that this is a super filtration system and that this is going to, that's one of their claims. No, this is a sponge, and that is a piece of of nothing. I mean, this is not going to filter anything out. This is not even close to a HEPA filter, and it is hilarious that that's what they're boasting. Let's go ahead and get inside. So with just a twist down here, this comes off. The handle is comfortable, but it puts a lot of weight on your wrist because this thing is actually really heavy. The battery's heavy. The motor inside of here is heavy, and this whole shaft right here is super, super heavy. For some weird reason, they made it reinforced. You can't lower this and make it smaller, so when you put it on the wall, it's basically that big, which is kind of annoying. Coming down here, the ability to take everything off by just a push of a button is really, really nice. The anti-tangle, anti-hair fins down here really work well. The fact that when you try to make straight lines, this thing is going to move all over the place like that is absolutely crazy. It'll actually just happen naturally, and if I'm trying to turn, it's just such a strange, bizarre thing that happens. You can see just like that. So there's something with the wheels and with the way that this thing turns. So they didn't design this right. They need to fix the wheels and the roller because it's just off. So when you're moving it around, it just goes like this sometimes, and it's kind of crazy. So the ability to make straight lines with this is not easy and not good. To move around with it too, when you're trying to go around things, it gets really crazy. So all in all, I'm gonna say that this is potentially a great vacuum if they just fix a few things, but I'm not going to give it more than a 4-star rating. I'm going to say that it has a lot going for it, but it just has too many shortcomings, too many problems to really give it that stamp of approval of 5 stars. It's not great to use it as a portable, handheld, as a stick vacuum. It moves all over the place. So I'm gonna say, if you understand the shortcomings of this, then it's definitely worth your time, worth your money, but just know that it's not the best stick vacuum out there. I wanted to love it. I wanted to give it a high star rating and say, wow, this is worth the hype. I think 10,000 people a month are buying this thing from Amazon, and I hope that they're not all returning them because this thing is not the best. So take note of that and understand what you're buying.
All right, there you go. That's the LEVOIT cordless stick vacuum. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely clear to click that like button. And if you want to join the Adam Lucas family and you want to be a part of this crew, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.